channel is on Sirius XM. Listen live on channel 114 now.
Breaking tonight, President Obama issuing a new call for economic reforms, including efforts to expand paid sick leave, increase wages, and make community college, quote, free. Just a short time ago, in a Kelly File exclusive, I spoke to Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, a Republican and member of the Senate Foreign Relations, Homeland Security, and Health Committees. Good to see you tonight, Senator. And so your thoughts on the president's message about the free things that we need to be giving the American people and his pitch on middle class economics, as he termed it.
Well, you know, I heard about a lot of free stuff, but I didn't hear much about how he's going to pay for it or that there are any consequences to paying for it. You know, we pay for it. One way we pay for it is through debt. He was also bragging that he's reducing the deficit at a greater than any other president before him. But the interesting thing is he's going to add more debt to our country than all previous 43 presidents combined. So you got to wonder about the guy's sincerity. I mean, this is a guy who could only spin that he won the election of those who didn't vote. But that's sort of what I heard, is a lack of sincerity.
He spoke to the economic progress that we've made in the country and ticked off some statistics about 5.6% unemployment and the deficit being cut. And he went on to talk about how the economy has grown significantly in the third quarter of this past year and so on.
You know, I don't think you should get to have it both ways. He's proud of accomplishments on the one hand, but then he still blames income inequality, lagging wages, wage problems, and inflation wages not keeping up with inflation. So he's going to have all of these. He's going to blame on someone else, but he's going to take credit for economic successes. You know, black unemployment is still twice white unemployment. There's still a great deal of people who have dropped out of the economy. So I really think that there's not so many successes for him to claim.
What did you make of his call for the parties to work together and in the same breath promising at least 4 vetoes of everything from Iran to the Keystone Pipeline to rolling back any of his executive actions on immigration to Obamacare changes and so on?
Well, here's the thing about it. He wants to complain. He gets kind of petulant when he says, oh, you know, I'm not a divider, I'm a uniter. But here's the thing. He wants bipartisanship. I called him several months ago. I have a bipartisan bill that I'm working with Senator Boxer on to lower the tax rate so American corporations will bring money home. He also mentioned this in his speech. But to lower the tax rate, more money comes home, and to put that money in the highway fund to build highways. So we lower the tax rate, get more revenue, and we can build more highways with it. I've called him on it, and I get no response, or I get maybe obstructionism, even though he voted for this in 2005. So the real question is he going to work with us even when we put forward, look, the pipeline is bipartisan. So really, I think the intransigence is on one side, his.
He doesn't want to lower the tax rates. I mean, he's already hiked the tax rates on the so-called rich by 5% and more if you look across the board at all the taxes he's added. And that was done on a bipartisan basis. But he wants to hike them more, and he calls any resistance to that sort of an advocacy for the, quote, super rich. Did you hear the class warfare bell being sounded tonight?
Yeah, and I guess what I think he mistakes is there's a productive sector, and that's the private sector, and there's the non-productive sector, and that's government. Sure, we have to have government, but we should minimize government because government's not very productive. Think of the post office. So a government that can't run the post office should be kept very, very small, and productive jobs would be greater if we would allow more money to stay in the private marketplace.